Here's one way of doing invisible cast on. This is a provisional cast on that can be later undone and then knit off of that edge from, so if you knit up from that cast on originally, you can later easily undo it and then knit down from it. So to start, you can knot the yarn along with auxiliary yarn that you'll later take out. So here's our working yarn. Here's the one we'll take out. To begin, hold the auxiliary yarn on top and the working yarn on bottom and the knot in your hand. And now come in front of the auxiliary yarn and behind the working yarn and grab it. Then behind the auxiliary yarn and behind the working yarn and grab it. And repeat. In front, behind, behind, behind. In front, behind, behind, behind. That's what I say to myself as I go. And then you get into the rhythm of it. Behind. So in front of the auxiliary yarn, behind the working yarn, and pick it up. Behind the auxiliary yarn, behind the working yarn, and pick it up. In front, behind, behind, behind. So you just keep doing that, and then when it's time to knit, make sure the auxiliary yarn is firmly in place and not flopping about somewhere. Hold it with your right hand to keep the working yarn in place, and then just begin knitting. You can also do this with a cable needle instead of your auxiliary yarn. You use the cable as if it was the auxiliary yarn. And here's your working yarn. So you just do the same thing. Hold the cable above and the working yarn below, and go in front, behind, behind, behind. In front, behind, behind, behind. In front, behind, behind, behind. And then, when you're done, you can, after you've knit your rows and you want to come back, you can just slide the work onto the cable needle and knit right off of it. By the way, with this method, your stitches are going to be, when you knit off of this cable needle, your stitches will be twisted every other stitch. So you'll have to untwist it or knit into the back of that stitch when you come to it. So that's it. Invisible cast on.